implementation of the sequester would threaten about 2.4 million jobs, both in the public and the private sector. The Congressional Budget Office has said that sequestration, if allowed to take effect, would reduce economic growth by 1.25% this year. So there's no doubt that sequestration would harm the economy, but we need to make sure that if sequestration is going to be replaced, it isn't replaced with something even worse. The President has already signed into law $2.4 trillion in deficit reduction, and most of it, 3/4 of it, comes from spending cuts. Spending cuts that have a real impact. You know, it's time that we take off just the green eye shade and look at the people behind the cuts that have been made. $600 million of cuts to community health centers. $500 million in cuts to the Women, Infant, and Children Nutrition Program. That's talking about taking food out of the mouths of babies. $1.6 billion in cuts to environmental programs, $400 million in cuts to home energy assistance. It's very cold in Chicago, where I'm from. $295 million in cuts to the community-oriented policing services, the COPS program. And I so know when I talk to all the new municipalities in my district, they talk about the layoffs that have already occurred. So these cuts mean that jobs were lost or weren't created, and services were cut to families, and smart investments weren't made. But the Republicans are insisting on additional deficit reduction needs to come from even more severe cuts, including Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid benefits. And just to point out that the poorest class of adults in the United States of America are people over 65 years of age whose median income is $20,000 a year. Don't be bullies and go after them.